Phase 1. And there we go.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. We're at the halfway point of today's events, and our next presenter, Kanin Reese, is going to give us a terrific presentation on data.census.gov. Of course, everyone knows this is the main tool that we use to access a lot of data series that the Census Bureau produces. So, Kanin, thanks for coming today, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate it. Let me share my screen really quickly, and then we'll get started. All right. And like Lynn mentioned that, everyone's heard of data.census.gov. It's our main dissemination system out from the Census Bureau. Some of the bigger surveys are being released from there. Census, Econ Census 2020 is probably what you're most interested in. So we're definitely going to be looking at that a little bit more. But it is an ever-changing site. We want to make sure that you know how to use it, but we'd love to hear your feedback. And we're trying to constantly build and improve to get you the dissemination system that you want and you need. So let's go in for a couple of things. I want to make sure you know how to use the site. Is starting out with a few things, starting out using the single search bar and some things that you can do with that. Then moving over to just using our advanced search, which is just really kind of like our faceted filters. And then moving into kind of doing a little both, using the single search bar, but also the advanced search. And what I really like is to use our mapping feature to really drill down and figure out some of those geographies. So the great thing about now that we've got some 2020 redistricting data is that we can go down to these extremely small geographies like block, but who here can tell me what their block is? I'll show you at least how to do it, how to find it through the map. Then some of the things that I really like to do is kind of comparing data across time and also geographies, looking at using some county level data, but then drilling down into tracts to find out some information, looking at some maps from there, and then downloading and exporting. Looking at some NAICS, some econ data, and then if you're not interested in the tabulated data, if you can't find what you're actually needing, I'm going to show you just a quick example of using our microdata access, which pulls from our public use microdata file. Now, these aren't new data. These data have been released, and typically like ACS, or American Community Survey, they were released about the time of their yearly estimates that come out. Talk a little bit about that and when you might want to use and give you an example. If we have time, I can go back and give you a second example. We just want to make sure that y'all have enough time to ask any questions. And then always important, leaving you with our resources, making sure you know how to find any questions you may have, and of course, our email address to be able to contact us directly.
Kanin, can I interrupt for 1 second, please?
Absolutely.
Please do not panic and try and do this. Listen to Kanin, because when the slide deck comes out, there will be all the slides of how to do it step by step, each example.
Good point, Barb. Thank you. That's a good point. Yep. So let's walk through some, and then we'll send you the slides, and you can kind of see them screenshot by screenshot to see what's going on. But first, we talked about just that there's some people, we have a wide range of data users. Some people are brand spanking new, and some people have been using it since kind of our inception. So just, bear with me if you know these things. But I wanted to start with a single search bar and how you use it and when you use it, and just some basic looking at some decennial data for Trenton, New Jersey, and also our geographic profile. So I'm going to hop over to our page, which is just the URL of data.census.gov. I'm going to show you a couple things. First, we have a banner here that gives you some information. Most of y'all do know that the 2020 ACS 1 year has been pushed back due to the pandemic and effects on data collection. So it's just a banner here to let people know. You're always welcome to do a collapse right there to see it. And then this is our new, which is government-wide, making sure that people are aware that something's a government website official. So all of those letting you know from here. When you go to our site, it definitely draws your eye to this single search bar. Great things can happen when you use the single search bar, but I want to show you that there's other things that you can do. So if you're not quite ready for a single search, if you're used to American Fact Finder and want to use this faceted filter, that's through the advanced search. So I'm going to show you both ways, but just letting you know. Okay, first, we were going to use Trenton, New Jersey. So I'm just going to type in Trenton, New Jersey. I could click on the prompt ahead, or I can go ahead and, a little smaller, I can go ahead and go straight to our all results page. So this is trying to say you've asked for Trenton, New Jersey. We don't really know what kind of information you're looking for. Maybe you wanted poverty data, but you didn't tell me that. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you this basic estimate of the total population for 2020 census. Honestly, that's a lot of what people are looking for, especially if they haven't put in a topic specific. So that's there. And then you have all of these tables that are available, and it goes into mapping. You also have very similar on top. You have tables, maps, and then pages. Pages is actually are pages that are coming from census.gov. So there's a tool called Quick Facts that gives you information by geography, and here's a link to that. So that's what the pages mean. But all of these things are trying to get at what you were looking for, and it also shows you the power of our API. Now, one of the huge reasons that we walked away from American Fact Finder was because of the way that the delivery system was. It's a static delivery, which means that every table was delivered just like that by each geography, just like that table. There was no manipulation that you can do. If they want to have a different table view, it has to be a completely different delivery and release. So what this is, using the API, which allows for one estimate or estimates across geographies or through whole tables, that's what we're pulling from. So it's something that we've been doing for 10 or more years. Not all of the areas at the Census Bureau have been using the API, and typically it's only been developers that have been using it, but more and more people are starting to see the power of the API and going and creating their own dashboards, creating their own applications, all by using our own API. Now, you can definitely do that. Some of your data centers probably have some great examples of that. But then you can also use data.census.gov because we're trying to give you what you may be looking for. One example is the profile. So on the far right, you can click on that and it gives you a profile, which is basically, I think I have it to narrow it in. So sorry about that. It's just an overview collection of the data, high level of a specific geography that you've selected. So we look down. Here are the most requested estimates that come into the Census Bureau, and then some breakdowns of basic topics that we have. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of our first level main topics, and you can scoot down quickly and go check them out. Go all the way down to race and ethnicity, and then you see things populated for across all places across New Jersey by the different race and ethnicity main race categories. So different things that are available. I definitely like to just peruse this more than I think I would ever use it, but I do use it quite a bit. But just showing you that that's available and a great way of looking at things. Also, another great thing I think is that if you're coming in for decennial data, typing in 2020 decennial census and even putting in Trenton, New Jersey, will then bring you back, again, the same population estimates because it doesn't change from 2020, or sorry, not estimates, but the 2020 count for Trenton, New Jersey. But if you look down, it shows you 6 tables, and that's because there are only 6 tables released now because of redistricting. So it's trying to narrow this. Once the rest of the suite of 2020 products start being released, you're going to see this number down here get bigger and bigger. But right now, we just have those 6 tables. So that's really nice to see from there. So just giving you a kind of basic look and feel of the site, of how to kind of navigate it. Up here in the top right is a link to our microdata. We'll talk about that a little bit more when you actually want to create your own tabulated tables if you can't find the table that you're looking for. Also a help button, which takes you to our resources page, an FAQ, and then feedback, which is our email. So if you get stuck, we always have those things right there. And then also a link to advanced search. So you can go to that advanced search, or my favorite is always to start at the landing page. It just centers me a little bit more to make sure I know what I am, that I've cleared out something. And to clear out, if you just click on this logo, is a great way to just make sure you've cleared everything. So sorry, I'm going to go back and forth. So the next question was, or example, was getting started with advanced search, just 2020 redistricting data for all counties in New Jersey. So we were able to type it in 2020 decennial data. You could also do redistricting and then the geography, but let me show you how to find it in the advanced search. So I clicked the advanced search button, which was right under that big single search bar. And this takes us to our faceted filter. Under each one of these categories are different filters. So this one goes to our topics, and then the topics get smaller to move to education. So different, same thing with geography, years, surveys, which is the same thing, programs, even though decennial is not a survey, but survey programs, it's all there. So under surveys, we want to choose decennial census. This has recently been rolled out. Before it was everything listed for miles. So happy to have some roll-ups that have been added. But if you look at decennial census, and you'll see all of these different categories and data sets that are available. Now just know that I haven't said 2020. So all of this is either going to pull 2010 or 2000. But I'm going to go down to redistricting data, the PL 94-171, click on that. And then that starts the restriction process. So the next thing, we wanted all counties. I'm going to go to geography. I'm going to click on the county, choose my state for New Jersey. And then right here at the top of this new panel that populates, it says all counties within New Jersey. So this is what we call like our collection button, or internally you might hear us call a pseudo geography, that we've totally made that name up. But it's just a collection of geographies. So clicking on this allows for all of the counties within New Jersey to be chosen without you having to click, click, click. Not so bad in New Jersey, but really bad in Texas and California. There's a lot of clicks there, so important to have those. So we've worked, because of the redistricting release, to add more and more of these collections buttons. So hopefully those will help you being able to gather the data that you're looking for a little bit more. All right, so I found the 2 that I'm wanting. I'm going to go ahead and search, and then I pull back a lot more than those 6 tables. I pull back a little bit more because if you look, it does include the 2000 tables. So that's really nice. I can go in. If I wanted to go back, I can click on this advanced search. And if I just want to add the year just to be safe, I can do that, or I don't need to, however you want to do. So there's always that option to go back in and redefine and redefine. So from here, I wanted to look at a couple of things. I was interested in race and Hispanic origin. So looking at the 2 tables, the race table is P1. Wanted to kind of peruse and see what I have. It takes me to this P1 table in our table display. If you scroll over, you see all of the tables. There's a lot of different geographies here, and it's really hard to see all of the tables the way that they're displayed. So you might want to end up downloading or exporting, and I'll show that later to you, but just this is a different way of kind of looking and checking things and going through. You can always scroll through if you're looking for Asian alone, finding the data that you're needing. You can also go down, change to 2010, and see what data are available for 2010 and some sort of comparisons. Also a great time to do export or download, because there might be some slight changes between the tables between the 2 years, and that's why we don't put year to year next to each other. There's lots of changes, especially in like American Community Survey, because they have lots of year-based things, but if they change the table ID, it ends the series. So it's you know, a nice toggle feature when you can't necessarily have the years right next to each other. So that's the P1 race table. Wanted to look at Hispanic origin, very, very similar. I can pull the same up, and going across, just looking at Hispanic or Latino, you can find the same things. You can go in, and if you click on this customize button, you see some the iconography that's available to do a little bit more of the customization of the tables if you're looking for. So that's just a quick high level look at what's available with those tables. Now I'm going to clear it by the logo, and I'm going to go back to my presentation and see what example 3 is that it's kind of doing for both. So using the single search bar, but also with an advanced search. And what I find really important is to be able to use the map feature to really drill down and see some of these geographies. Again, I don't know my block, so we're just going to go and look for a block in Middlesex County and show how you can do that using some of the mapping features in our reference map. All right, so I'm going to scoot back over. I really like, because I know the table ID, and some people don't know the table ID, and if you don't, do not worry. You don't have to. We've already showed you that you can go through advanced search. You can look through topics and find what you're looking through and kind of peruse some tables if you don't know. But if you do know and you want to use those, this is a great option to do it. Now, I've put 2 tables in, and I'm just clicking enter, and I'm getting those tables to come up. Now, we looked at the tables, but I'm actually going to switch and go to maps. Now I click on the maps. We haven't chosen a geography yet, so it's just showing the US. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to drill down by block. So I'm going to use this category drop down and scroll down until I find census block. And I'm going to choose that. And now it's using that. It's putting that block layer and is available. You definitely might have to, over here, the zoom in and zoom out. Just know they, again, don't know where you are. So you're going to be in Kansas. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit to get my bearings. And I am going to go and drill down. They don't know we're in New Jersey, but we do. So we are going to go in and scroll down. And now you're seeing more of a block level map of New Jersey. Now I'm going to scoot in to try to get you the best kind of option from here. So what I'm going to do is, now that I know, I'm going to go through Middlesex. So I'm going to go and drill down. I know it's in the Bay. Now I'm seeing it populated for the county. Actually, if I scoot back a little bit, now you can see here's the Middlesex County. I'm going to scoot in a little bit, and I'm going to move over. And I see this area down here. I'm pretty sure it's track 80.01. I'm going to scroll down and try to see some more defining features. We've got some Hilltop Avenue. We're looking at Valley Avenue. This looks very similar, and I'm pretty sure this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for block 3005 because it hits the marks of where I am. This base map could also change to a street map to give you a little bit more definition if that helps you. So that's nice to have. Now that I've found the block that I want, we talked about 80.01 for the track, and then the block is 3005. I'm going to use that to go in back into my advanced search. I could go back to this advanced search button, or I could even use this filter. So either one takes you back here. So I'm going to go in and drill down and just find some additional features next door to 3005. So I'm going to go down, go to New Jersey. I just passed it. And then we're at Middlesex. And then tracks, there's a whole heck of a lot of them. So I'm going to search 80.01, found what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to scroll down and see my block options. I knew that I was at 3005. So I'm going to scroll down until I see that number. And now I've got 1, I've got 2, and I'm going to choose 3. So I'm going to choose those. We haven't chosen which year we're using, and so it's adding multiple the definitions for the different geographies. We're working to try to stream that a little bit better, but when we have, it's been at the detriment of losing some important information for older years. So right now, when you click on one, you're clicking for both. So just be aware of that. So I'm adding a few. I'm going to go ahead and click on Done and move over here, and you see that it's been populated. So that, I think, is a really nice way of adding some things. You can actually go in and do a selector and pull in several at a time if you are interested. Any kind of movement you'd like to do. I'm hearing a lot of feedback. If someone could mute your phone, that would really help. Thanks. All right, so from here, looking at, so we've added couple of blocks right here. Then from here, you can actually go back to the table, to the table view, and showing you the blocks here. You could go in and customize and do some changes that we talked about. Transpose if you were interested. I would suggest it. That makes it look really, really confusing for me at least, but maybe if you wanted to, at least it's possible, you could do that. Then take it back from transpose. What I also like to do is, as there's a hide feature, sometimes you realize you don't need as much as you want. You could take all of them out and just bring back maybe 1 and 2, or really you just wanted block 3001. You can save that. You also have an option to maybe print. So just know our print is a work in progress. So right now it's really hard to define print the way that it is. It doesn't come out great. You have to manipulate it and kind of move around, but it's an option at least. I do know some people need to print things, and this is available. Just go ahead and play with the scale. And the other option is maybe just to download it or Excel. So we'll show you how to do that soon. Some of the other things you can do, you could go and do more data if you're interested in. That actually takes you to the FTP site that has the full file, the full ASCII file of decennial. No difference between the two, it's just in different formats. So that's available. And then the final thing I like to show you is if you would like to save this link, you have the blocks that you're looking for. You've chosen 5 or 6 different blocks. You want to keep that for the tables that you have. Go ahead and copy and paste this. And that is, I think, the best way to preserve it. No long kind of deep links. Everything is URL based, and that makes it very nice to be able to do some quick URL saves like that. All right, enough of that. Let me go into what I really like to do is looking at data kind of through the mapping feature. So wanted to look at Hispanic or Latino population for all census tracts in Essex County. So again, I'm going to clear this using the logo. I'm just going to go straight to the advanced search because I know what I'm looking for. Now, if I'm looking for Hispanic or Latino, I'm going to topics. So under topics, you might have to take a moment to go and look through, see what's available, people in population, maybe race would be under that. Yeah, it could be, but it's not. It's kind of one of our higher level topics that we've put in. The race and ethnicity is down here. Also, with iterated products are also added the race iterated tables where you can look at something and then show the characteristics of a smaller population. That's included there too. So let me show you kind of the difference. So I scroll down and I see Hispanic or Latino. So click on this. When you're doing a filter, you don't stop until you've clicked a checkbox. Once a checkbox is done, you'll see it down here in the filter. So that's really important. But let me tell you what this shows. So when I click this first Hispanic or Latino checkbox, it means that based on the geography I chose, I'm going to see a distribution of Hispanic or Latino. Now, if I instead didn't want that and I would like to see how the characteristics of the Puerto Rican population of a certain geography or the US, I would click on this Hispanic, detailed Hispanic or Latino. So I click on this, and then I can see all these different iterations, which are the components that make up Hispanic or Latino, and I click on that, and that's populated. So definitely different. Definitely know that you're going to have a higher level geography for these, and that's more of those iterated products, but just showing you the difference in where you would find it. For our purposes, we're looking at the new census counts, and we just want the distribution or the counts of the Hispanic or Latino. So I'm going to click this top box that we mentioned. Then next for the geography, I believe it's tracts. Yeah, all tracts in Essex County. So I'm going to click on tract. And then I'm going to go to New Jersey. I'm going to click on Essex County. And I'm going to click on, again, this collection of geography button, all census tracts within Essex County. I see that they're populated down here, and so I can add my search. Click on the search, and I see P2. There's been lots of different things. It shows you the two of the new redistricting tables that are available. But then it also goes into American Community Survey data, lots of different Hispanic or Latino origin tables that are available. But I'm going to check out this P2. But actually, instead of going to the tables, I'm going to switch over to maps. Now the map populates based on what we're looking for. So it's now a tract level map. And it tells you right there. I can change the base map if I'd prefer to see things in a little bit different. But right now, it's a reference map, just like it was a reference map when we were drilling down to find exactly what block I needed. It becomes a thematic map when you click on a table. So I'm clicking on the Hispanic or Latino and not Hispanic or Latino by race table from the Redistricting 2020. And you see how it populates here. Now, that's just the first line. Right here in this drop down, it gives you all of the different options because a map can be made from every single line in a table, which is fantastic to have that option with every value. So going down to Hispanic or Latino, and I see that it repopulates. I can go to this drop down here and go to 2010 and have that repopulate. Again, just remember you have to go back and, oh, it already saved it. Great. Go back to the, make sure that it's still giving you the value you were looking for to begin with. So those are really nice ways to kind of go in and change things. You can go in and customize the map. And you go down here, it tells you what it gives you the legend a little bit bigger. There's a cog here that you can go in and, always important to change the color palette or do different classification types, natural breaks or equal interval, quantile, and then data classes. So if you wanted to change those things, that's fine. That at least those are available. So from there, I think from here, I wanted to scoot back to the table, show you how to do some downloading. Go back to the table. and it keeps all of my tracks and my geography, which is fantastic. And now I'm going to show you, we have two options called Excel and we have download. So they're very different, but both equally as important, but not necessarily in no way the same. So let me show you what they are. So the first one is a download. You have a download option of doing multiple years, which is always nice. So I'm going to use 2020 and 2010. I'm going to download. It's preparing your file. It's going to be a little bit different based on what browser you're using, and I'm in Edge right now. So download now. It's going to come up over here. And not set. And then I'm going to choose the data with overlays for 2010. Let's do 2020. I'm going to pull it up and show you what the download file looks like. It is a CSV, a flat download file, which is perfect for data manipulations, machine readable, but it's not necessarily something that you would need if you wanted to show this to your coworker or use it as a presentation or something like that. So just know the differences. Each line is one geography, which with the fully qualified data underneath it. So all of that's available, and that's considered the download. Now, if we go back here and we choose Excel and you export to Excel, you're going to pull up something that's more table display. Now, the first page is the information. It gives you all of the data for the table notes. And then the data side is all of those tracks going across, which is nice that it's available. There's a lot of bandwidth for the Excels to be able to come through and be populated by the different geographies. So this is always a really nice option, especially since the print is really a hard one for us, considering our tables are not really meant to be printed. They're many columns and many rows, but this is kind of a nice option. So just know that these things are there and they're different. Definitely great for a download. You can also open this, save it as a PDF, and kind of treat it as such. All right, so let me turn this off and let's go to the next one we had. We're going to look at some econ data. All right, where am I on? Okay, so finding business data, searching by industry. Wanted to use an example of the healthcare and social assistance industry using a zip code in New Jersey. So again, there's two reasons when you would want to use it. So let's go over those a little bit. So right here is, let me clear it out. All right, so to find NAICS data, definitely go ahead and go to our advanced search. Then I'm going to go to this option for codes and go to the industry codes. Now, a couple of things. So you scroll down, we wanted healthcare and social assistance, that's 62. So you could stop there at 62, or you could drill down smaller, but we want zip code. So we're going to need to stop at 62 because we're not going to have any data if we're going down to a 6-digit NAICS that's been refined. So I'm going to go to geography and show you a difference. So we've been kind of offering you up some main summary levels here, but if you've worked at the census and you know your summary levels, you're welcome to use this toggle and it'll show you what's available. We've already chosen NAICS, so there's a bunch of things that are just not available because it's not tabulated for the data. But for NAICS, I need 861. That's the summary level I'd like for zip codes. So I'm scrolling all the way down. I missed it. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, 861. Here it is. All right, so I click on that and kind of populates the same thing. So I'm going to scroll down to New Jersey, and then I'm going to type in 08755 area code and select it. It populates down here, and I'm going to do a search. There's several things that are available, mainly from county business patterns. So I'm going to use the latest, so 2019, and then I see the available for NAICS 62, all establishments, lots of different information that I'm getting. For the zip code, the number of established is 259. Things that you can do and change using the filter, finding out additional information, moving things like average payroll and adding equals or above. So definitely some movement you can have within these pivot tables. And then one thing, just going back to the advanced search, if you decided you did want to drill down and New Jersey was enough for you, you could take out the zip code. You can go to state, choose New Jersey, and I'm actually going to take 62 out because we can drill down lower than that. Here's 62, and then here is nursing and residential care facilities, skilled nursing facilities, and then I'm going to stop at 6231, nursing care facilities, skilled nursing units. So I do a search, still get back county business patterns, but definitely additional data because your geographic area is much, much bigger. So looking at that and the different establishments that it's available for that very, very more slimmed down than 62 of the skilled of nursing care facilities, skilled nursing facilities, says the same name in parentheses, has 410 establishments, and then it has annual payroll and that type of thing. So differences of what you can get if you're willing to go bigger or smaller with geographies. Now, similar to that, we talked a little bit about going to microdata access. Microdata access allows you, if you do not find what you're looking for, you can create your own tabulation using the microdata. So, but let me show you what that would look like a little bit. First off, microdata is the same thing as a PUMS file. PUMS file is just a public use microdata. Microdata meaning these are individual responses. So it's a one single record or collection of one single record. It has not been aggregated. It has not been tabulated or weighted. They're single collections that are available that you must then go in and tabulate and weight. That is what the microdata analysis or MDAT system does. It's just a tool to take the PUMS files, and it allows you to create these tabulations without the use of having programming knowledge, without having statistical software packages where we can do it for you or we can help you out. And then the public use means that there are no personally identified information with it, and that it's edited for to protect your confidentiality. And then, like I mentioned, accessible, that it's not just on MDAT, it's also available in the API. And then for many of you who've been using it through the FTP sites that are still downloadable and available. Now, just quickly going over some points, the internal file is what you see on data.census.gov. It's these tabulated tables. They're more precise estimates because they're created against the entire file, not a sample of the microdata file. The microdata access, it does provide you the estimates when pre-tabulated tables not there, but just know it has limited geographies. You will not find this on a tract level if that's what you're looking for, or a zip code. Typically, it's just nation and state. For American Community Survey, you can get PUMAs, which is the geographies of about 100,000. So definitely know there's going to be give and take to what you're looking for. And here's a great example. So if you are looking for something, information on web developers in Maryland, male web developers in Maryland, what you'd be able to find in data.census.gov is at the top. It would be computer and mathematical occupations. You can find that data there. But if you really wanted it, to drill down further to specifically web developers, this would be an excellent reason to use microdata access. All right. So I wanted to go over just a quick example. It'll only take about 5 minutes, and then we'll have a good 15 minutes to go over any question. The first one is, we have an example of females with incomes of 40,000 or more in the United States. Looking at my current population survey table, it breaks out all races by male and by female. But if you look at the income distributions, they do not have a cutoff of 40,000 or more, and that's what we are looking for. It has 100,000 or more, and it has 25,000 to 49,999, but it does not have 40,000 or more, and that's a key indicator for my example. I really need that. Excellent example of why we would use the microdata access. So let me flip over really quickly. Microdata access is available at this button right here. Top right-hand corner, you click on it. It's part of the site, but it's not been completely integrated with the site. You'll see there's some things like this feedback button and that type of thing, but we're working on that. So the first is to select a data set. I'm going to scroll down to CPS, Annual Social and Economic, the March supplement. There's a lot of different years available, but I'm going to choose the most recent in March 2021, and I'm going to click Next. Now, conceptually, this is very, very different than what we have been using. Before, we think of things as topics and geography. Now we're looking more on the variable level. So we know we want females, and we want females, and then we want of an income of 40,000. So this is always a great opportunity to use the surveys, have their own data dictionaries, and will tell you what the names of the surveys are. That's always a great example. So since I've done that, I know that there's one under this label called Person's Income. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to pull up, and it's the P top val. So I'm going to look over to this right and do the details and see that it's a string value. Exactly what I want. I'm going to check the box. It's going to give me a flag to let me know that I'm going to have to make a recode of this because it's just a string variable, and I'm totally fine with that. I'll show you how to do it. So if you look at this data cart, it's populated with 1. I really wish it would be down here, much like data.census.gov, but we haven't gotten there yet. That's kind of on the to-do list, but just know that's where it is. The other variable we wanted was the sex variable. So I actually don't know the exact variable of that. I'm going to see if the label of sex is in there, and it is. Look at the details, and it's male 1, female 2. I'm going to click on that. It's populated. So next I'm going to go to select geographies. For the CPS, only nation and states are available. This throws me every time, so don't let it throw you. It is a default to the nation, so you actually don't do anything. We're just looking at national, so don't do anything. You can switch over to the data cart. Now this is where we create our variables, our recodes. Okay. So the first one is I'm going to take the P top val, and I am going to click on Create Custom Group. And from here, you see the slider where you can choose how big you want. I don't have a steady hand at all, so I'm just going to type in 39,999, 39,999. And I am going to go up to this group label and change it to less than 40,000. And then I'm going to save group. And now you see this dichotomous less than 40,000 and then everything else. So above 40,000, I'm going to go ahead and edit it because not elsewhere classified doesn't always make a lot of sense. So I'm going to click on that default label and change it, make it my own. And I'm going to put more than 40,000. It's my own table and my own recode. I can call it whatever I want. Now from here, you save the group and you see the differences from here. And you see that this RC1, this recode has been created. Now for the A_sex, all I need to do is remove the male because we just wanted female. And that's it. Now I'm going to go to table layout And it gives me a table layout that I might be able to use. Let me make this a little smaller so you can see it. Okay. It gives me a table layout, but I want to move this around. I want to put my recode on the rows. And then I have my A_sex in the columns. That looks pretty good, but look at this values of table cell. It's an average. We don't want that. We want the straight count. So I switch that over and I look and see what else is available. And I view the table. Now, from here, I see that it's weighted. It's already given me a weight of the March supplement for the person, which is the suggested weighting. You could go in and change it if you want. I wouldn't suggest it, but you always can. So this is what it's there. It's showing you the variables that are available, the universe that's been selected. And in the end, we were talking about who was making less than 40,000, females making less than 40,000, and it's about 45 million, 45.218 million. So that's just a great way of being able to use it. Please note you don't have a margin of error included in this. It's not doing calculations. It's just manipulating the tabulation and creating the tabulation. So, user beware, but a great opportunity to be able to calculate and create some of these estimates when the tabulations that are prefabricated have not been made for you. All right. So quickly show you really quickly, go down here, wanted to show you our help site. You click on the help, it goes to our resources page. So that if you have any questions, please feel free to come and check this out. We try to update with this new things. We have some navigational changes that may be coming in the next month or two. So we're doing a little GIF right here showing you what they might look like. And then we have resources, videos, webinars. Here's what we've done for redistricting. So making sure that from data.census.gov to the Census API, all of those things are available for you. If you have questions, please let us know. And as always, you're welcome to contact us directly. And here's our information. In fact, actually, we send out a newsletter of any changes. So if you're interested in being part of our mailing list, you're welcome to add this, and it'll be on your slides. And then just leave you off here with links to our resources, and any questions or feedback you have, please reach out. We'd be happy to hear from you. But until then, I think, see if we have any questions today. I don't know, Lynn or Barb, did y'all see any questions, or Jessica or Alexa?
Everyone's been answering the questions in the chat very well.
Good.
So if you would like to see the questions and answers, refer to your chat in Teams. You can see what's been asked and the answers that the data.census.gov staff have provided.
Right, and I'm sorry I don't think I introduced them before, but Jessica and Alexa are my colleagues that definitely been helping and quite busy with the chat. So thank y'all, ladies. Yes. I appreciate it.
Yes. If anyone would like to unmute and ask a question, please feel free to do so.
Sounds like the ladies might have answered everything that was needed. Lynn, what do you think?
Yeah, sounds like it. Now Barbara has the slides to your presentation so that she's going to forward?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, I'll send them to you right now, Barb, and pass them along to you.
That's terrific.
I just sent you 3 decks, Lenny.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome. And I'll get hers and send it. I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.